Welcome to Warhammer 40k lore in the Bible, where I pull from Warhammer 40k lore to help explain biblical lore. And today we're going over TikToks about the warp. I also do a lore series every Monday. It's called Warhammer 40k lore in the Bible, so you can check that out in the playlist on my watch page. And then I also do these reacts as well to Warhammer 40k lore and bring a biblical veneer to it as well. But anyways, I always start out with the verse with these. So, we're going to talk about this Valley of the Shadow of Death. And I will bring up all the verses and stuff in this TikTok because this, of course, is my TikTok. I also do shorts as well, I forgot to say. So, these will also be in the short section if you want to check those out. But anyways. Yea, or Psalms 23:4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So remember this shadow of death in this place of darkness, okay? But anyways, let's get this started. The Immaterium, also called the warp, is a dimension filled by sentient life, and it is pure psychic energy. This alternate dimension of pure psychic powers is where all sorcery or magic lies. It is also the home. Sorry about the puzz. My bad on that. Of the ruinous powers of chaos, Nurgle, Slanesh, Khorne, and Tzeentch, and all the demon hosts. This Immaterium is mankind's solution to the problem of faster-than-light travel, and the warp functions as the medium for FTL interstellar travel. It is also rumored by many factions in Xenos races alike to be the final resting place of the souls of the dead, and therefore considered the underworld. These four chaos gods have made their own lands within. I love that song that I put on there though. In the short section you can check out where I get the music from. So if you want to check that out, it's in the description. But anyways. In the Immaterium itself, this is the realm of chaos. You do have to pay to get the licensing though, so if you do plan on using those, you do have to do that, by the way. The only way demons can break through into the mortal universe are warp rifts. These are breaches into the fabric of reality. Warp storms and rogue psychers are another way demons can come through to reality. The Bible has its own Immaterium, called the Shadow of Death in the Land of Darkness. Job 10:21 and 22. Before I go whence, I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any. See? So that's what I was talking about. Remember that shadow of a death. It's very interesting. And this place of darkness. And you'll see it says that we can be covered by this as well. But anyways. Any order, and where light is as darkness. Job 24:7. That's in Chaos Corruption. Yeah, I did a video on Chaos Corruption, so if you want to check that out. Shameless plug, sorry. 17. We see there are terrors in the shadow of death. In some translations, translate this as goblins. Job 24:17. For the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one know them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. Psalms 44:19 shows, right? And it says it right there that these entities there. But here's this one too. This one's interesting. There are dragons in this place of shadow of death, and we can be corrupted by them. Though thou hast sore broken us in the place of dragons, and covered us with the shadow of death. The book of Adam and Eve is not canon, but we see the corruption of Satan. Chapter 13, verse 3 through 5. And by the way, Satan is a dragon. The Bible literally calls him a dragon, right? And cherubim are never described as serpents. They're always described with male features and could be cows and could be eagles and stuff like that. But anyways, I digress. That's a whole nother debate. But you don't see serpents at all. But what you do see, or an entity that you do see that, are the seraphim. I believe they're in Isaiah, where it talks about the seraphim with 6 wings and stuff like that, which means burning ones or fiery serpents. It comes down to, and you can read that in the Strong's Concordance. You'll find that there. That it means fiery serpent, which a dragon is a fiery serpent. But anyways, sorry. But when he transgressed my commandment, I deprived him of that bright nature, and he became dark. And when he was in the heavens, in the realms of light, he knew nothing of darkness, but he transgressed, and I made him fall from heaven unto the earth. And it was this darkness that came over him. This shadow of death and land of darkness underlies our reality, and we can be corrupted by it. Now we're going to be reacting to Scotty Blades. Even the Chaos Gods feared the deep warp in Warhammer 40k. But before that, I'm going to get into this real quick. The outer darkness. We've heard this verse many, many times, but going to give you something to think about with this. Matthew 25:30. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Is this like a void area? Where it's outside both the realm of darkness, and you got darkness, this shadow of death, place of dragons, stuff like that. But then you got the outer darkness, right? And this could be a part of the deep, or that prison place I was talking about as well. So there is that. But anyways, let's get this started.
Everyone thinks that the warp is just the worst place imaginable, and for the most part it is. It's pretty creepy, it's pretty scary, but the top of the warp is just the kiddie pool. What ships travel through, that's the shallow part of the warp. That's the surface. That's the part you survive with a Geller field and a prayer. But there are layers to this bad boy, and at the bottom,
that's the good old iceberg, the warp iceberg. Remember those? I wonder if those videos actually do well anymore. I'm sure they do.
The deep warp. It's a place so hostile that reality gives up, that demons lose the plot and kind of can't figure out what's going on, and even the Chaos Gods get very polite and they stay away. Tzeentch has had some run-ins with this place. This is the god of secrets and schemes and just knowing everything. He found something down there called the Well of Eternity. It's a hole in existence, and it's chock full of answers, and this guy's the god of knowledge.
I actually did a thing on that, and it might have been in the Immaterium video, but I have covered that before in the deep warp. I just can't remember which one it was. But anyways, I digress.
And
I guess I should stop shamefully plugging my stuff, huh?
Was scared to go in it. So he just started chucking greater demons down there to see what would happen, to see who would come out. They never came back. And then he took his boy Kairos Fate Weaver and chucked him in there, but something did come back. And now that...
Hey, that's what Bantha fodder is for, right? Anyways.
Thing, it sees the past and
Star
it sees
Wars
the
reference.
future at the same time. It whispers truths that even Tzeentch didn't authorize or understand. And there's a running theory that that is not, in fact, Kairos Fate Weaver at all. That's something else wearing his skin. So in the deep warp, your shields that protect you, they shatter, and the Emperor's light, it goes blind down there, and chaos doesn't rule that area, it just stays away. Because whatever's down there, it doesn't care about worship, it doesn't care about bargains or making deals, and that's the scariest part. We don't know what it cares about. Let us know down in the comments below, what do you think's down there, what do you think's waiting for us, and what kind of secrets could we find?
Now we're reacting to Dingus 40k, Warp Travel, and the Chaos Gods explained in 60 seconds. That's a mouthful. But anyways, we're going to see that demons travel through portals. And do they, of course we know about the shadow of death and this place of darkness. Is that how they get from place to place, while using these portals? Anyways, we find it. Okay. Matthew 16:18. And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And the book of Enoch talks about these gates, whatever, they're portals. He calls them portals, right? And tongues of fire. He says he stepped through the tongues of fire and came out, right? We also see this, actually. Let me bring this up. Which one is it? Might be this one. Yes. Psalm 24:7. So God travels through gates, right? So Psalm 24:7. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lift up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? So this is like a song, right? This is Psalms, so it's a song, but glory. And the Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up ye heads, O ye gates, even lift them up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is the, yeah, anyways, you get the point. It's the same stuff over. But even God uses these portals. Well, we know in the book of Adam and Eve, so take it with a grain of salt, that there's the realm of light and this darkness that overcame Satan, right? But anyways, let's listen.
In the 41st millennium, only losers use traditional faster-than-light travel. Instead, many factions are limited to using what's called the warp to traverse great distances in space, a psychic dimension existing parallel to reality without form or the boring old rules of time and space. Coalesce from the emotions and souls of all sentient
Does anime and Warhammer 40k go? Is that heresy? No, I'm kidding.
beings in the galaxy, this dimension is where your soul goes when you die. The galactic highway of hell, if you will. It's also home to the realm of chaos, full of soul-eating demons and their respective chaos gods. Ships traveling through the warp would be under
Hey, it's good old crotch mouth.
constant attack from its inhabitants if it wasn't for life-saving shielding technology. The Imperium uses what's called a Gela shield to protect themselves from the outside horrors, creating essentially a bubble of real space around the ship, and a psychic mutant subspecies known as navigators to find their way around. Even these expert psychers would be lost without the guiding light of the Emperor's Astronomicon. Inside the warp is a constant war for control, as the gods aren't particularly fond of each other. The big four consist of Khorne, the blood god of anger, violence, and hate, Slanesh, the prince of pleasure, excess, and
actually, one thing I should say about, the kingdom of darkness in the Bible is they work together to get the goal, but they also fight amongst each other, right? Because they want to be ruler of this and blah, 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 right? So it is kind of the same thing. Anyways.
sick riffs, Tzeentch, the changer of ways, magic, and trickery, and Papa Nurgle, the great god of decay, disease, and forum manager for WikiFeed. Let's hope your navigator isn't lost, because it sure as hell won't be long for something unpleasant to find you.
Here's a quick meme that I thought was pretty funny. Demons escaping the warp. Winding down the video now. I want to thank everybody who liked the video. If you disliked the video, thank you for at least giving me a chance. I also want to start promoting my memberships. $5 a month, and you'll have access to the Discord, and I'm going to make videos like Q&As, gaming sessions, and stuff like that for the members and whatnot. So that way it gives you guys, the bang for your buck, per se, right? But I don't want to gate my main content to that, and biblical content shouldn't be behind a paywall. So anyways, guys, thank you, and you guys have a wonderful day.